Welcome to the Art Gallery Workshop. I'm your host, Christopher Epley. Really appreciate you tuning in this week. We should have an exciting show for you. We have two talented artists, writer combo team from our region we're going to be spotlighting today, as well as looking more at Copic markers. Had a lot of questions come in during the Jay Compton episode about what are Copic markers, how are they used, so really happy to be able to bring those to you today and going into that a little bit more. I do want to mention before we get started that the Art Workshop is produced by Pike TV and theholler.org. Those out there who are watching these episodes and appreciate these episodes and you'd like to participate in an online community, you can. Just visit theholler.org. There's forums available and different opportunities for you to showcase and share your own artwork with students from around our region. Before we get into today's episode and to meet today's guest, I do want to share with you the books that were actually submitted and chosen as what's going to be published books from the KVAC workshop. So here are a few of those. Now I do want to tell you before we start here that these are selected from grades K through 12. So we have a large assortment of books from different age ranges here. And so we'll go ahead and take a look at the first one. This is Penny Moss the Ballerina. This is from Vanna Vance. This was a student at Betsy Lane High School. All of these will be published through the KVAC granted supported art workshop. The Ugly Pumpkin, this is by Christopher Conley. He's a student at Millard Middle School. We have Al Saves the World. This is a student actually over at Martha Jane Potter. Alex Kinser and Cheyenne Holbrook from Martha Jane Potter Elementary. This is one of my favorites, Supernova. Supernova was written by a student at Magoffin County High School, and let's see, I think it's a combo that actually did this one as well. It's amazing work. I really like the way this student used color in these defined spaces. So as you notice, the clouds are positioned around the words, so the words kind of flow along with the illustrations through the pages. I just think it's really cool and personalized stuff. So they did a really great job with this, and when I turn to the back page, I'll be able to tell you credit who actually wrote this book. Here we go. This is from Madison Ward and Emily York, and they're Magoffin County High School students. So Supernova is going to be published. We have Lily the Cat. This is Destiny Conley and Haley Marshall from Harold Whitaker Middle School. Let me say that again. Harold Whitaker Middle School. And finally, we have another elementary grade student. This is Elizabeth Hall, and it's The Animals and the Cake, and they are from Breathitt County Elementary. So some amazing works coming through the KVAC region for the art workshop. I'm really proud, but we have one more that I didn't share with you today, and that is the actual showcase of today's art workshop. I want to encourage everybody, please, I know I stated this at the top of the show, but if you want to share your work and get it out there and let people see what you're coming up with, your types of creations, maybe it's storylines, characters, anything that you learned on the workshop, go to theholler.org, search for the Art Gallery Workshop Holler, and become a member, participate in the online community. And before we meet the actual creators of this work, I'd like to go ahead and show you a little bit about what they've created. So this is called Deception. And Deception was written by two very talented author, illustrator combo team from Paintsville High School. Their names are Sarah Colvin and Abby Webb. And I'm going to kind of restrain a little bit from going too far into this work and let you meet the actual creators here in studio with us today. We have over here to my far left, this is Abby Webb, and beside me here is Sarah Colvin. So say hello to everybody out there today.
Hi. Hey.
Really appreciate you coming into the studio and talking about your work today. Feeling pretty relaxed?
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good? Okay, great. Now you guys know that you're one of the out of the 19 counties participating in this, you're one of the only 8 books that are going to be published. So what that means is Sarah and Abby's work are going to be published and collected and professionally published. Their work's going to be available for purchase online. This is the first of, I hope, many books, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be
hopefully.
conducting area book signings. They're going to be participating in events here locally and regionally. One of the goals is to also get some of these authors into the Kentucky Book Fair for 2016 in Frankfort. That's the state official state book fair for the state of Kentucky. So big things happening, right?
Oh yeah, we're really excited about it too.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and start out. Now, the book is called Deception, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now this book, when I'm reading over the entries that were submitted for the KVAC company, this is maybe, I hate to say I have a favorite, but this is maybe my favorite. Okay, so first I want to ask you a little bit about the title you chose. So you wanna take that one, Abby?
Yeah, well, the title more or less explains about what happens near the end.
Okay.
The stuff, and it creates a sense of mystery to it.
Okay, cool.
Which basically from the title, you know that everything is not what it seems, you know.
Okay, for advanced writing concepts, I know that both of you guys are high school students, right?
Yeah.
Paintsville High School, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, and we have a senior and a freshman,
Freshman, yes.
right? Okay. You do know that, like, we talk about story conflict, resolution, and things like that, right? So we know automatically, well, what I'm thinking from as a reader, when I see deception, I know, hey, this is building up to the conflict of the story, right? That kind of thing going on?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and crack the pages for everybody at home to kind of take a look at your amazing work, okay? Now, as an illustrator and author combo, we talked a little bit about this early on in the workshop. When you work together as an illustrator and author combo, a lot of people had the misconception that the writer writes the story and the illustrator just does the illustrations, but you guys kind of broke that mold a little bit with this, didn't you? You both contributed to the story a lot, right?
Yeah. We both kind of tried to build more on what we were going to do for a story before doing the actual writing part of it.
So planning, how much would you say percentage-wise? Did you take up a lot of time planning for this book prior to even starting it, right?
A fair amount of time, but it didn't take too long to kind of get the main story.
Okay.
And afterwards, we've changed a few things and kind of tweaked it a little bit to fit
Okay.
better.
And now, as the illustrator, this is all done in pencil, right?
Yeah.
In graphite. Okay. And you can see the transitioning here from what we talked about, setting the setting of the story. Now, as you can see here, we'll read just the first part of this. A few miles off the town, Kinsey, you'll find a dark, overgrown pine forest. And sitting in the back of the forest, you'll see an old, vacant lumber mill, right?
Yeah.
The setting is established through the words, and then also we have the setting established through the illustrations. And that's one of the criteria that we actually ask the students to do, is follow the story along. If the story says we're having a setting on the moon, don't show the bottom of the ocean, right? So you guys really knocked this out of the park. So this is one of the main characters, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about this guy.
We call him the Stranger. We don't really want all too many names given out quite yet, since the story will continue afterwards.
Okay, now the story's going to continue afterwards.
Yes.
So do you both have plans, I guess, based on that you're going to do a continuation?
A little bit. We have kind of an idea of what we want to do.
Now
Hopefully we'll get to that.
Now you both shared with me prior to starting that this is actually part of a larger story.
Yeah.
Okay, and when I first approached you two about creating something for the art workshop, you said that you wanted to pull something from this ongoing larger story as a submission, right?
Yes.
Okay, how far have you gotten along with that larger story?
It's really, really huge. What it basically is it's taking place on a separate country.
Okay.
And we made so many characters to the point where you could break it down into everyone's backstories and who they're connected with, and I guess it just really gets really twisted. And
Well, that's good. That's what most good stories do, right? Now, do you write a whole lot on your spare time, Abby?
Yeah, I really do.
You do? And what's your all's preferred, I guess, if you were to choose, do you like anime a lot or manga?
Yeah.
yeah.
You do? That's your preferred style? Okay. How did you guys meet? How did you guys decide to even start working together as a team?
I think it was years ago when I started to move into the street that she already lived in. We just kind of met as little kids.
Really? So you've been
Yeah.
friends your whole life?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. When did you start writing stories together?
This actually started out, we were playing around as kids. We do a lot of role-playing games, like a lot of kids will do
Oh,
role
cool.
plays and
Okay.
everything.
So,
And that's what this started out as.
okay.
But eventually we grew over time, and we slowly started making the story more complex, and eventually actually grew an attachment to it.
Okay. Do you guys ever have I hate to disagreements on where the story should go, or do you guys work pretty good together?
We hardly ever fight,
No
like
fighting.
really,
no,
you know.
no punch down dragouts or anything, right?
Oh no, she's
Okay.
hit me plenty of times.
Yeah, that's not over the story. That's just the torture.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing that you work together well on, professional and friendship level. Then no knockdown dragouts, too bad anyway. So the character though is taken through this situation where the readers almost doesn't know as much about the story as the characters are finding out themselves, right? So as the characters are learning what's happening in your story, the same thing's going on for the reader themselves too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is this character here is also who?
We just call him the stranger.
So this is the stranger still,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Now we have a creature involved here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the creature that's you've introduced to your story.
We kind of didn't know exactly what we were going with the monster. We
Mhm.
just decided to make it some kind of demonic-looking thing that was summoned a long time ago.
Okay, so it's sort of this is going to end up being later on the antagonist, as we call it in the stories.
Yeah.
Okay, and so as the story continues, though, we learn more about the stranger. We learn about their motivations, maybe some of his weaknesses and things, right?
Yes.
Okay, and now this is one of my favorite illustrations from your entire book. I think I really like the woodwork and everything done here. Tell me something. How many books do you see in this series?
A lot.
Yeah, quite
lot?
a bit, yeah.
Really? And what do you plans to do after the book is published, after the book is out there and made available to people to purchase? Do you see a career in this anywhere?
Yeah, I think we're both going to get kind of graduate, go to college, get a main job. And if at all possible, still continue this story. If we
Okay.
can make a living off of it, I guess we'll do that, but
And Abby, what about you? Do you think you're going to go on to maybe do some writing? Do you study maybe language arts after high school?
Oh, definitely. I couldn't go without doing that.
Really? Do you
Yeah.
keep journals?
Yeah, I do. I have an endless amount, pretty
you
much.
journal a lot, really? Did any of this stuff come out of your journaling?
I do draft a lot and
You
stuff
do
like
draft
that,
a
and
lot?
just kind of poke around at different things I
Yeah.
could experiment with for the story.
Great.
And I all the time tell her about it, and we work together with it.
Okay, awesome. This is really cool. And let's just go ahead and reiterate to everybody who maybe just turned in. We're talking today with Sarah Colvin. Is that correct to
Yeah.
pronounce that? And also Abby Webb, who are the authors, the writer-illustrator combo team for Deception. Deception is one of the books that has been selected for the first art gallery workshop sponsored through PVECT and ARI. They're going to be published authors, so they're author-illustrator combo team. So really, congratulations to both of you for this. I mean, this is a really, you should be proud of yourself. The region should be proud of you. And I think you're going to go on to do some amazing things.
Thank you so much.
You think we could do a little writing, drawing exercise maybe with each other here pretty soon?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, everybody, for the purpose of today's drawing exercise, we're actually going to be focusing more on shading, but we're going to be referencing the narrator from Abby Webb and Sarah Colin's Deception. All right, so let's go ahead and start out. We're going to use, again, the circle method. Sarah likes to call it the circle. I call it the Marvel method, but a potato, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get these circles down. Now, she's done this before. She's at a little bit of a advantage here. That's what I'm going to say. But I'm gonna try to hang with her the best I can here and get that general look down. You notice here how I've got the general egg shape, almost like an egg shape, isn't it? A little bit. Sarah?
Yeah, I think so.
So we're going to get that egg shape down. I always draw my center point line. And since our focus today is more on shading and coloring, I think what we'll do, if it's okay with you, we'll just fast forward through this first version of sketching this out. What do you say?
Works for me.
Okay, so I think everything turned out. What do you think, Sarah? I think it turned out for our sketch drawing. It's completed. I think we're ready now to put a little shading on there using graphite.
Yep.
Okay, now you did bring in your Copic markers today. I want to stress to everybody at home that we're going to be using pencil, basic pencil lead. Now you have a particular type of a graphite pencil. Was a number 555. What is that? Can I see it for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show everybody on the overhead here. This is basically just a extra black. Generals is a brand name, and it's graphite, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to be using something similar to that here with my pencil. And what we're going to be doing, since your entire book, Deception, which is right over there in the corner, it is completed using graphite and shading, I want you to kind of work along with me here, and we're going to actually use this to shade the narrator, which is a character from your story, correct?
Yep.
Now here's my really pitiful attempt at drawing your character, but we're going to roll with it. But the Copic markers, though, if we wanted to really go in depth and add color to this, here at the end, hopefully we'll have a little bit of time to talk about those a little bit, okay? Skin tones, more importantly, which are right up here at the top of the screen. Now, here we go. So let's go ahead and start looking at, are you doing okay over there, Abby?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so what we're going to do now, I guess you work from the darkest portions of your picture and go lighter. Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about your process. Now, you don't have to necessarily start where I start, but I want you to kind of talk me through how do you start to lay down graphite on your drawings.
I've always, for some reason, just started out with the eyes, and I'll do the start part right above the top part of the eye.
Okay, so you start out with the eyes, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you do this part right up here, right? Right around what we call the pupil or the iris, right?
Yeah.
So this part right here, the shading portion, right underneath the eyelid, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, and then you do that on both sides?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just keep on telling me what you're doing. I want you to talk to me and tell me, okay?
All right. Now we'll take, they call this tortillion.
What
The
now?
smudger.
Oh,
Smudger.
the smudger. Okay.
Yes.
Now, for those that don't know what a smudger is at home, you keep using it. I'll talk about it. A smudger basically is a very, very condensed, rolled up piece of cardboard. And what it does is it helps, instead of using your finger, a lot of artists I know like to use their finger to smudge, right?
Yeah.
So instead of using your finger, getting your finger all nasty and all gummed up with graphite, you use a smudger, right? Okay. Now, what's your next step after going around the eyes? What do you normally go to next?
I would go around the face, and I would do the shading around the nose and underneath the chin.
Okay, so we're going to go from your eyes to underneath the chin here.
For the
Aha.
spin the shadow the other way.
Okay, so we're going to get that portion going underneath, right?
Yes.
Okay, now every artist is a little different in how they apply this stuff, right?
Yeah, even in anime, it seems a lot of people think it's all drawn the same, but actually each individual person seems to draw it separately, a little bit different.
Okay, now where I don't have a smudger with me today, I'm going to use my finger. You at home can use your finger. There's nothing wrong with using your finger if that's what you have, right? If you got to use your finger, it's okay. Or you can even take a piece of cardstock or cardboard and roll it up and even use that, can't you? To smudge with.
I used to use my finger all the time a couple years ago. I remember doing that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say I would get it all over my hand and just have it all over my face by the end of the day.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about your influences there at Paintsville High School? Who are your art teacher?
My art teacher was Miss Coleman. She had a large influence on all my art.
She did?
Yes. It seemed like every time you have a problem, whether it was with art or if it was just an everyday problem, she would always have a solution to it.
That's amazing. You know, art teachers are some of the coolest teachers in the world, don't you think?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I am an art teacher now. I promise you, I guess I spoke before I thought there a little bit, as you could say. But no, I mean, really, even for me, Willa May was my art teacher in high school. And now you take art classes, Abby? You take art classes? You do. Now, you're an artist, too. See, that's the thing that we really didn't talk about in this episode a whole lot. Yeah, you're the author of this. Well, you both are co-authored and co-illustrator in a way, I guess. I mean, not really co-illustrator. I mean, you did all the illustrations, but you did the design work with some of the characters, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You help come up with the ideas.
Yeah.
Now, what's your preferred medium to work in, Abby? Like, what do you like to when you're at home? Let's say you pull out your sketchbook and you start coloring. What do you like to or drawing? What do you like to work in?
What do you mean?
Like pencil,
Pencil.
pen, watercolor,
I just use a lead pencil.
lead pencil, so graphite.
I'm not as complex as she is. Basically, everything I know now, which I'm pretty novice at, like artwork and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I do a whole lot of writing, but I don't draw a whole lot, but I do when I'm bored.
Now let me ask you something about your story as we're going through with this. Now you notice over here now, Sarah is using the smudger. She's getting the same effect I'm getting sort of kind of from using just my finger. And all that we're doing here before we talk about the next topic here, we're just laying down just like you're coloring with the pencil. See how I'm coloring here around the shirt sleeve? Okay? And we're just laying this down on here. What I mean by laying it down, it just means you're coloring on the paper. You're putting the pencil graphite onto the paper just like that. Now once you have that right there, you can take your finger or a smudger and you can go in there and you can move that around, can't you? And the oils in your finger will actually help to smear. So you can see the difference between this version of the collar and this version of the collar. And what happens is the oils in your finger will pick up that graphite and it'll start to move it around on the paper for you, okay? There's a good chance that some of you probably have already been playing around with using this and didn't even realize what you're doing, okay? So just going back real fast as we're finishing this out, I do want to talk to you a little bit too about the different mediums you use besides graphite. So Sarah, what are some of yours you like to use besides graphite?
I've gotten into the Prisma color pencils and the Copic markers.
Okay, now Copic markers are pretty interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, they look really good on paper. It's almost like it came out of a magazine.
And now, for what you mean by that is that the ink you apply the ink and it's really consistent, right?
Yeah.
Really consistent look to it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's consistent. It looks really soft.
Mm-hmm.
No rough lines or. It's hard to explain.
Well, it's best though if students want to figure out how they could get some sort of tones, and what we mean by tones is this. Now you keep working. I'm going to talk about this, okay?
All right.
Now Sarah's continuing using her smudger. She's laying down the graphite. Now you notice like underneath the neck portion here, we've done this a little differently. She's got more of a shadow coming in a little different of an angle than what mine is. And those of you that will go back and actually resource some of the early videos of the art workshop, you're going to remember us using a tool called the light switch. So we turn the light on with the ball, and we looked where the light would actually appear on the ball. And so you have to think about lighting when you're creating your work. This is all about shadowing here. This is what we're doing. We're putting shadow to our artwork, okay? And there's different ways to do that. Now, when we talk about tones, and I want you to kind of look from the overhead camera, you can see these are now minus the yellow here, but and especially these are different what we call hues or tones of the same color. So if I were to use each one of these and color with it, they would look very similar. And there's actually a crayon pack you can buy, and these are called skin tone crayons, or a multicultural pack of crayons. And while she's finishing up her shading, I'm going to show you an example of what I did earlier. Now here is using the multi-tone crayon. So you could do shading using the same color. So basically we're starting out very light with this crayon here, and we'll color over the entire surface, and then we'll go back and we'll choose a slightly darker version of that same color, and we'll add in the shading, okay? So shading can be achieved in various ways, whether you're drawing something offline or you're using something maybe from your own creation, such as Sarah and what Abby's done today. And I highly encourage you to try out shading using either graphite or various other types of crayons. But when you are shading with crayons, try to use the same tone or a different, darker version of the same color. I guess we better start wrapping things up today. I know we run out of time so fast here, it's kind of hard. That looks awesome. I'm so proud of both of you and what you've done and what you've accomplished. I really am. I want to be sure and tell everybody where they're going to be able to get your books once they're available. Okay? I know we're going to have a publishing website available for everybody's books to be purchased on, so I'll share that here on the Holler. Is there anybody you'd like to say hello to or goodbye to before we start? We'll start over here with Abby. Who would you like to say hi to while we're here today?
Hi, Mom.
Say hi to Mom. That's awesome. Anybody at the school you want to say hi to?
Hey, Claire.
Hey, Claire. All right.
Yeah,
And
Miss
what-
Coleman.
Miss
Hi.
Coleman.
Hi, Miss Coleman.
All right. What about you, Sarah?
I want to say hi to Miss Coleman and my dad at home.
All right. And your mom brought you today,
My
huh?
mom, yeah.
And so we really appreciate it. Supportive parenting is so important in this, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a supportive network at home and those encouraging. Look, this is our region's artist here. This is our youth. And when we talk about maybe the futures for Appalachia and whatever that might be, we're talking about these guys right here, our youth. That doesn't mean that it has to be your daughter, granddaughter, grandson, or son. As a community, we can invest in one another. And the best way to invest in our youth, no matter what their interests are, art or music or whatever it is to encourage them, foster that. Tell them, hey, you know what, we see the great progress you're doing and we really want you to do even more. And encouragement is the key, okay? We really appreciate everybody tuning in to this week's art workshop. And remember, go to theholler.org. We really appreciate Pike TV and theholler.org for producing this channel for you here. Tune in each week. We're going to hopefully spotlight more artists coming up and young talent from our region. And please, if you do anything for me here, or if there's anything I can suggest, and my highest probably plea to you is to invest in our youth, for they are the future of our region, okay? Thanks so much, and everybody say bye, okay? All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in.